Okay, welcome back. This is our second part of our apple pie bake class. The first part was making the pastry, which we have in our pie dish here, which I'm just going to set aside. I've got enough pastry, which will be the crust, which we'll roll out in a moment. And we are now going to take the apples. 4 or 5 apples is about a pound. These are from a local apple tree. And I'm just going to peel these. Now, as I mentioned, we have a couple of options when we come to do our pie filling. Now, obviously, you could get a can. We're not doing that. We're doing it all from scratch. So we're using fresh apples. Like I say, these are just off the neighbour's tree. Smell amazing. And we have, like I say, a couple of options. You might want to have, depends what kind of centre that you like in your fruit pie, in your apple pie in this case. You could either have a softer filling by stewing the apple, or you could have a much crunchier filling by leaving the apples uncooked and then just cooking them as the pie is baking. Now, I'm going to actually do a mixture of the two just to show you what that looks like. I did this recipe a couple of weeks ago for my family when my son and partner came over for Sunday lunch, and it worked really well. And I'm going to be adding a few blueberries, a few blueberries to this recipe as well, just because it makes it look pretty. And it makes it just a little bit more interesting, I think, than just a regular apple pie. So I'm just quickly peeling these fresh apples, and the smell is beautiful. The fragrance is really crisp. These are Bramley apples off a Bramley apple tree. She got these from a neighbour earlier today, so they are lovely and fresh. A little bit bruised in places, but that's okay. We can just cut that out. In fact, I'll do that with my paring. So what I'm going to do now is put these in halves and in quarters, and then I'm going to take out the core. And then I can chop these, let me just show you here, into thin pieces. They're quite sweet, actually, rather than yummy. So that's what we're going with. I'll put these into my pan over there the other way. So to make sure there's no 4 pieces in there. We're going to cook this down. Now this is the one that had a little bit of bruise damage on it. It's beautiful at this time of the year. In I was going to say, from September through to November, apples are very plentiful in the UK. Apple pie actually originated from England. I know that's could be controversial, but we were making apple pie back in the 1500s. So just chopping those up. It's got a little bit of damage on as well. So I can just chop that out. Take the cores out. And you can get apple cores that do this, but using a knife is fine too. That's one here, still got a little bit of the core in there, so I'll just take that out. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, although to be honest, these apples are not sour. If they were cooking apples, they can be a bit sour. You can basically add sugar to taste. You might want to cinnamon. That's very popular in the States. Not quite so popular here in the UK. Although I have discovered that the UK is taking a lot of American ideas and making them their own. So just chopping these up roughly. I have saved one more apple, 2 more apples to go on the top, should I need them. Now, the idea of this, as far as quantity is concerned, I'm saying a pound. When I made this, this is an 8-inch round baking dish. You might want to have a deeper baking dish, in which case you'll probably need twice as many apples. It really does depend on how big your pan is. You could go to 9 inches. So you might need a little bit more. But I think I'm going to leave it at that for the moment and get these started to cook off. Now this will go on a stove with a little bit of sugar. So I'll let you decide. So those are, I'm not going to add any water to this. I don't want it so wet that it's going to get soggy. I just want it softened. So I'm going to put this on the heat, probably a medium heat. Let's get this set up. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to add a few blueberries, which are lovely actually. These are pretty good. A few of those. That's about half my punnet there, maybe a couple of ounces. They're a little bit sharper. That blend and balance of sweet and sour. You've got the pastry, we've got no sugar in that. We could have added more sugar. We're going to perhaps sprinkle some sugar on the top. We're going to be serving this either with pouring cream or custard. But I'll be making that tomorrow when we actually eat this pie. So that's not covered today. So let me get my spoon. That's sizzling away. So what I'm going to do with my last apple, I've got a couple more here as well. It's always a good idea to have a few extra apples at hand, just in case it cooks down and it just disappears. Doesn't really have much filling. So I'll make sure we've got plenty of filling in this. We want the fruit to pastry ratio to be just about right. Now what I'm going to do with these, because the ones in the pan are going to be put down a little bit. These ones I want to have more regular sort of shape to them, and thickness to them, because these will be the ones that I put around the top. So I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to have a soft filling with a bit of crunch on the top. Right, it's starting to smell really nice. Let's finish chopping this one. And of course, apple pie is such a good Thanksgiving option as well. So you can see now my apple is starting to cook down, especially with the blueberries. Oh, piece of apple on the floor. Right. So the smell from this is absolutely amazing, and it's got a nice bit of colour to it as well. Oh, sugar. I didn't add any sugar. I'm probably going to add about, what do we get about an ounce? Actually, I don't think I have any. No, I will. A couple of spoonfuls. It's just a regular dessert spoon. And sugar will start to down nice down. So again, you can see it's taken the colour of the blueberries. Let's leave that there for a second. And we have this lovely little compost bin, which takes all our peelings and fresh food scraps. So, and tea bags and eggshells actually, and this all gets composted, which is kind of nice. Although I think I've just filled that with all my apple cores and peel. It's a handy little thing to have in the kitchen. Here in the UK, we do a lot more recycling, and very little goes to landfill. Right then, let's have a look how this is going. It's starting to bubble. I'm starting to have a bit of juice forming. So I don't want this too wet. So I've not added any water. The liquid in here is just from the fruit and a little bit of the sugar that I've added. I'm going to add this to my pie and see how that goes. So this was 5 apples. And I say it just put down. See, I think I want a bit more apple in there. So just flatten that out a little bit. Can you see what I'm doing there? There we go. But I want this nice and full. That's quite a chunky piece. There we go. So then what I can do with these pieces is start to arrange those around. And these are a little sour. Yeah, those are a little bit, they're not quite as sweet as I think these are actually cooking apples. So these pieces on the top will just give a little bit more crunch to the pie, which is maybe what you want. I'll let you decide how you want to do this, if you want to make it all soft and stewed, or if you want it with a little bit more light, bit more bite. Sugar on here, because these apples, having tasted them, are a little bit sour. And I think I'm going to add a bit more apple. How are we doing on time? Pouring this first and then peeling it with my paring knife. So a bit more apple to the top of this. And if you want to add cinnamon, feel free, just sprinkle a little over the top. I'm making mine more an English style. And yeah. And not adding the cinnamon. But I added blueberry as my nod back to the US. This just helps give it a little bit more filling and a little bit more crunch, a bit more bite. It also will be more filling as well. And I'm going to pop this in the oven. We've had the oven on at 180 degrees centigrade, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to cook this for about 20 to 25 minutes. Enough. And I will do a final reveal when that's cooked. Okay, let's move that out of the way, all that mess. So now I am going to take my dough that we made earlier, a little bit of the flour. Now we're going to do another rolling out. I would really appreciate your feedback on this. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your pies turned out. Let me know what type of pie you've done. Because although I said this was a apple pie, and I've done apple and blueberry, you could have done, I did apple and pear the other week. That was very nice. Or we could do cherry, peach when they're in season. That's pretty good. So I don't think your fruit pie only has to be apple. You could do lots of variations. Rhubarb. I think rhubarb and strawberry is a big thing in the States, not so much here. Rhubarb and apple, maybe. Let me see, is that going to be big enough for my pie to sit on? Getting close. Get one roll. And then what we can do here is actually slide the pie over. Oh, what we need to do first though, I do have a pastry brush, but I'm just going to use my fingers and just go round the edge lip of my pie. And that gives top something to stick to. Have a nice, a bit far, there we go. And then we can pinch the edges. We can use the back of a spoon. Pinch the edges. So let's go here. Do the 20 spoon, there we go, that's probably best. And this gives a nice edge to the pie. It's kind of crimping. Then in the center, we're going to put a slit in that lets all the steam out as it starts to cook and get hot. And then what I'm doing here is I'm holding the pie tin and I'm using my knife and I'm just trimming the pastry. So move that around. Trim the pastry. A little bit more here. Good. Now what we can do with this, which is something grandmother always used to show me how to do, is actually roll this bit of pastry out again, out of it, and then cut out some leaf shapes, mark them, and then put the leaves in the middle. A little bit of water on the back. loop shape with a little bit of a mark on there for the veins of the leaf. A little bit of water on the back. That just sticks the leaves to. Let's do one more. Loop shape or following what is artistic as we might even make a rose. I'm going to do that today. And the water and stick that on. Oops. And there. A little bit of a pattern. And then that. This. Now, one last thing we need to do before this goes into the oven is do a little wash, which we can do with an egg, and we can do with milk, or we can do with a mixture of the two. I am going to do this with a little egg wash. Pastry brush. Oh, pastry brush. It's used to the kitchen. So we'll just take an egg and crack that. My shell and my composter. And it's back in the fridge. And then using my pastry brush, mix this. And then we can put a bit of egg wash over. That gives it a nice golden colour when it comes out of the oven. There we go, plenty of that. Okay, and then a little bit of sugar. This again will help it go golden, and we'll add a little bit of sugar to it. I think I'd rather put the sugar on the top than actually in the pastry. Again, depending on what you want to do, you decide how you'd like to do it. I think this is how I prefer it. There we go. And there is your pie all ready for the oven. 25 minutes on 180, which is 180 centigrade, which is 350 Fahrenheit. We're going to put it on a baking tray. Makes evenly cooks the base. And we're going to put that in for about 25 minutes or until golden brown. So, yeah, in there, put the timer on. 25 minutes. There we go. So that's going to take about 25 minutes to come out of the oven. I will hop on again or post pictures of this lovely pie, and we'll do some pictures tomorrow on a Facebook page as we are enjoying it, and maybe serving it with pouring cream or hot custard, depending on what people are wanting. We've got a couple of friends coming over for dinner tomorrow, so I'll be sharing pictures of that with you then. Hope you've enjoyed tonight. Let me know what you think. I'd love your feedback. Am I going to be doing another one of these? Possibly. Like your feedback on timing. Obviously, it's not worked out for people in the way that I'd hoped today. My phone is peeping away here. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so yeah, let me know and we can set another one of these up. I'm looking at doing baking here in the UK. Gingerbread, Ashbourne gingerbread men. that's something I want to do. I might do that as, well, we'll see. Watch this space, and catch the Facebook page, Tina's Traditional Faith. Sorry, my Tina Jesson Facebook page, and you'll see this lovely pie when it comes out of the oven. Okay, till next time. Bye for now.